Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 News at 6 o'clock. We appreciate you being here. I'm Tom Sherry. Good news, we just confirmed now that Spokane is officially moving on to Phase 2 1 day early. It will now happen on Sunday, February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Yeah, this is great news. Governor Jay Inslee said earlier today that the changes would officially take effect on Monday, but then he started to face some pressure from the public and business owners to open restaurants just in time for Valentine's Day.
Of course, once we are in Phase 2, we have to meet the criteria to stay in it.
Yes, it's all important. Our Casey Decker is breaking down all of those details for us tonight. Casey.
Yeah, Whitney, this has been the announcement that our area has really been waiting for since November. Some restrictions now going to start to be lifted this weekend. This as part of that new reopening plan that the governor first announced back in January. Regions need to meet 3 of 4 metrics to move out of Phase 1 and into Phase 2. There are no other phases at the moment, just Phase 2. And a couple hours ago, Governor Inslee announced that Eastern Washington is one of the several regions in the state that meets those criteria. Our case rate, you can see there, decreasing by a solid 43%. It only needs to be decreasing by 10%, so that's one box that we check. Our hospitalizations have gone down 17% since the last check-in. Again, meeting the 10% decrease requirement, that's 2. Our ICU occupancy is at 73%, just needs to be under 90%, so that's 3. Our test positivity rate, that's sitting at 10%. It needs to be less than 10%, so we don't meet that requirement right now, but it doesn't matter. We check enough boxes under the current plan to move forward.
And the science tells us that we are currently driving this pandemic down quite dramatically. We are having considerable, measurable, and scientifically fact-based success right now. And we have businesses that have been suffering closed for months and months now. We have consumers who have not been able to go to gyms and restaurants to some degree, and we want to honor that. So we believe this is a reasonably scientific-based position on the current conditions of this pandemic.
All right, so what exactly does all this mean? What actually changes now? Let's take a look at some of the biggest differences. Now, we just told you these actually will be going to effect this coming Sunday on Valentine's Day. And one of the big ones is going to be indoor dining. That's going to be returning for the first time in months, just in time for those Valentine's Day dinners. Capacity, though, limited at 25%. 2, indoor entertainment venues can open up now with 25% capacity and a maximum of 200 people in any given venue. Gyms can start letting more people in under this new phase, again maxing out at 25% capacity. Outdoor sporting events will be allowed, but there can only be 200 people combined between participants and spectators. And very small indoor social gatherings will now be permitted in your home, only up to 5 people at those and only 2 households combined, meaning if you're the host, that counts as one household, so your guests have to all be already living together. Now, of course, this move is not permanent. We could get booted back to Phase 1 if our numbers start to get worse again. So in 2 weeks, updated metrics will be posted, and we still have to be meeting 3 of 4 criteria at that point. Now, it doesn't matter which criteria. We could switch which ones we're passing and which ones we're failing at. As long as we still meet 3, we'll qualify. If we don't check 3 or 4 boxes, only 1 or 2 or none, the Phase 1 restrictions will then come back that following Monday. So some great news tonight for a lot of local businesses, especially with that update now that they're going to be able to reopen on Sunday. But of course, Spokane and the rest of the region still need to be staying diligent unless we want to go right back to where we came from. Tom, Whitney.
Thank you, Casey. Well, the governor's announcement, as you can imagine, is welcome news for small business owners of wineries, clubs, and entertainment venues that have been closed for months with no revenue and bills that need to be paid.
Yes, KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has been talking with business owners all afternoon. She is joining us once again live from the Spokane Comedy Club. Hi, Amanda.
Well, actually, Whitney, we've moved around and talked to quite a few businesses. We're now at the Saranac Commons, where some news of the updated early opening is starting to spread through downtown Spokane. We did speak with Spokane Comedy Club earlier today. They are beyond excited. This is an emotional day for them, actually, because they've been closed for almost a year, not being able to have that live entertainment component. So they're looking forward to Sunday, starting Sunday, having that opportunity to reopen. They are just grateful, though, for the support of the community so far.
Oh, completely. But honestly, we couldn't be here without the community. I know that so many people have reached out, shown us so much love, supported us through these changes, and kind of stuck with us. So, like I said, we couldn't be here without everyone.
And we headed over to Bridge Press Cellars, a well-known spot for some live music and great wine. And they're pretty excited to be reopening as well. And they're also excited to have that live music back.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's been 9 months since we've had music back. We had to lay off all of our staff, so it gives us the opportunity to bring more employees back. Music's a huge part of Bridge Press, and really myself personally, I'm a huge fan of music, so it's nice to bring that back. Brings joy back to people and gives us really a bunch of people a place to go now.
Now, as we've mentioned earlier, there is still that chance after the 2 weeks of being in phase 2, we could go back to phase 1. I asked these businesses about that, and both the Spokane Comedy Club and Bridge Press Cellars are both very optimistic, just looking for the hope of staying at phase 2 and even moving forward. So very hopeful tonight, very excited as well. Reporting in downtown Spokane, KREM News.
Well, today's announcement is certainly welcome news for restaurants and bars, but for many small businesses, 25% capacity simply isn't enough to make money, especially after being shut down for months. Rima Shaver owns Bistango Martini Lounge and Bistro in downtown Spokane. She's thankful that she can bring customers back inside without having to have doors and windows open during the bitter cold winter months. But she says the 25% limitation in her business with guests makes it almost impossible for her to make money.
Is it difficult for you to make money or turn a profit as a business at 25% capacity?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be lucky if I break even. But the way I see it is at least I can bring two employees back. I can, for me, you can't just sit and complain about something. You have to do something about it. So I did. I'm opening at 25%.
Shaver says she really wants the community to be healthy, but she believes that also means keeping the businesses and the economy healthy. She says she'll keep pushing to reopen at 50% capacity in order to bring back more employees and then hopefully turn a profit.
Today's announcement also impacting thousands and thousands of high school students all across the region.
And some good news for area high school athletes, as we will have some sort of semblance of high school sports now in just a few weeks. Brenna Green joins us now in the newsroom. She caught up with some of the people affected. Brenna?
A few of our high school sports slated to start in a few weeks were able to compete regardless of the phase we were in. But for football, volleyball, and girls soccer players, today's announcement was everything they've been wanting to hear for 10 months.
Just being able to put on a helmet again, I'm just so excited.
Today's news that Washington's East region has moved to phase 2 was an emotional moment for players and coaches alike.
It's obviously a great feeling just to be able to have something to look forward to again and know that you're working towards something that's going to actually happen.
When it's quiet around my house a lot of times, I'm like, are we even going to have a season? Are we even going to have a chance? Are we blowing smoke to these people and families and kids? And when you sent me that text, I started thinking, wow, like I wasn't blowing smoke. They are going to get a game.
Thousands of people have been waiting for this day for over 10 months. The wait was anything but easy.
A lot of up and downs, just praying a lot, honestly.
Of course, high school sports will look a bit different this year with shorter seasons and no state championships, but compromising is absolutely worth it, according to Mace.
I told the kids when we talked about everything that could potentially happen, the masks, all these different things, I'm like, when it's all said and done, I think that's a good sacrifice to be able to play football, and I think overall people are on board with that.
There is also a possibility for our region to slide back into phase 1 over the coming months, thus suspending competition for medium and high-risk sports. This year, more than ever, every competition is being seen as a blessing.
Like we have to treat every game as it, which is one of those classic coaching cliches, but it is the most important game because you don't know if it's your last game. And so we're going to try to channel that and just challenge the kids and challenge ourselves each week to really get after it and enjoy it and hopefully win. But at the end of the day, if we can say, hey, it was a great experience, then we'll take it, whether that means 1 game, 7 games, 2 games.
Just some dates for you. In the GSL, volleyball games will start February 23rd. Football will begin Saturday, February 27th. Girls soccer, provided we stay in phase 2, will start March 1st. And cross country, which can happen regardless of the phase we're in, will begin March 6th. Back to you guys.
Brenna, thank you very much. Just a lot of happy news for a lot of different sectors within our community. Today was the news. We kind of feel like we've rounded that corner just a little bit.
Absolutely. And, you know, any other time we'd be talking about the bitter cold weather, right? My gosh. And it is. We're looking for maybe the coldest temperatures of the week overnight tonight, and dangerously cold wind chills. We've got lows in the teens and single digits, but sub-zero temperatures if you factor in the wind chills. And then a chance of snow locally. Saturday through Tuesday. So from this weekend into Tuesday. Speaking of snow, down to the south of us, we've got we've got our friend out there as well. Do we want to go to Thomas right now? Oh, we'll go to this then. Winter storm warning in effect down in the down around the Walla Walla area. You've got in southeastern Washington 4 to 8 inches of snow possible through Saturday. Winter weather advisory down around Lewiston and south of Lewiston, Asotin. Again, you could get 2 to 4 inches of snow. But for us, at least through Friday, it's the bitter cold wind chills. -10 to -15 expected. Right now, we're at 16 degrees with wind out of the east-northeast at 16 miles per hour, making it feel like it's probably around zero right now. That's a look at the Doppler radar, and the snow falling maybe out towards Moses Lake, certainly south of Moses Lake and into the lower Columbia Basin. So here's a look at your day planner forecast. Air temperature tonight of 6, but we'll look for sub-zero wind chills. 21 the expected high tomorrow. Remains cold over the weekend. 10 the low Saturday with a chance of light snow. Right now we think less than an inch, but as we get closer we'll figure that one out a little bit better. Less chance of snow on Sunday, but then we'll look for a better chance of snow on Monday and Tuesday. Now, let's go outside to meteorologist Thomas Patrick, who is braving the bitter cold weather in the Outdoor Weather Center to let people know how to keep themselves safe in this kind of weather.
Yeah, absolutely. Apologies if I seemed a little bit impatient for my hit just now. It is a bit feisty cold out here, especially with the wind coming in from my right. That would be from the east, and it is quite cold. In fact, the last observation that I saw out here, -1 degrees is what the wind chill feels like. So of course you want to bundle up. I've got an extra shirt, a scarf, my heavier gloves, and yes, I did get the hat in between my 4 o'clock hit and now. But it's not just us trying to stay warm. What about our pets? And actually I had a conversation earlier today with one of our coworkers, and it's like, how do our dogs handle this outdoor weather? And it's hard to give us a blanket statement because all of our dogs are different. They're different sizes, different breeds, but generally speaking, the bigger the dog, the more apt they are to handle this kind of weather. In fact, if they're a northern breed like a husky, I mean, honestly, temperatures like this are just fine. Just keep an eye on them and their body language. And there's this chart that you see behind me from, what is it? It's Pet Prepare, I believe. I've tweeted out this picture. You can see that on my Twitter page, and it kind of ranks it from 1 to 5. 5 being a bit more dangerous for your dog, be it a small, medium, or large-sized dog, and there's a whole scale. So once we get to 3, you want to be cautious. At 5, pretty much only let them go outside for their potty breaks and then bring them back in. But again, those larger and northern breed dogs, they're going to be able to handle this weather a lot more strongly than, say, some smaller dogs. So keep an eye on their behavior, and of course keep an eye on yourselves when the weather gets as cold as it is forecasted for tonight.
Thomas, those are really good reminders. I have a Great Pyrenees, and she doesn't hardly seem phased about this, but I don't let her stay out for too long, although she's constantly asking to go out because she kind of thinks she gets energized by it, honestly.
Yeah, one of my best friends has a husky, and that husky has been begging to go outside, and it's totally fine for them, just not all night long.
Right, absolutely. And of course, a good reminder, make sure that they have fresh water that doesn't freeze. You got to be keeping an eye on that. Keep the water because they need that in order to stay warm.
And I'm only going outside for my potty break.
Same. Thomas, thank you so much. All right, coming up next, it's a story that we first brought you yesterday, sitting down with Washington Representative Cathy McMorris Rodgers. In her first on-camera interview, I asked the Congresswoman about the Capitol riot last month. We also, though, talked about our state's COVID response so far and how to help Eastern Washington with economic recovery. That portion of our conversation coming up next.